For all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure you select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes every Thursday. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices.
Micropod. How's that?
Woo!
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a micropod. This is something that I've talked about with Jamie for a while, and Jamie finally the other day said, Kyle, let's get on this. I got Patrick on board. Let's do a micropod. Let's do a short episode. And I said, Jamie, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, you got to really stretch the story, though. Make it, how go into more detail.
Well, I thought I invented it. I watched Lara Croft. I took out my microscope and I looked at the submarine, which was a very small submarine in Lara Croft Tomb Raider 2. So, did I spoil it? And then I told Jamie we should do a micropod, and then he was like, Kyle's on board. So I thought I invented that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
True. No, I stole it. But I think the thing is going to be a short episode. We're going to get right into it. It's going to be much shorter recap, unfortunately. Everyone loves it. Everyone loves me. It's great. But we're going to do shorter one of that, just a few games. And I thought we would start with a little bit of a different flavor and just kind of go through some kind of piece of media outside of the submarine world that we've been consuming that we enjoyed or didn't enjoy or whatever. Just keep it short. And then we get right into our micropod. So who wants to go first?
I can. I recently was able to finally watch a sci-fi classic. It shames me that I hadn't even seen this, but the other night I watched the original Alien.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Great movie. I mean, it's got that classic horror sci-fi thrill vibe to it. And I mean, watching it today, 2020, I thought it still was great. I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
Should I hit the controversial opinion button or no?
You can.
Okay.
You can.
Controversial opinion alert. He likes Alien. This is you said Alien, right? Not Aliens.
Correct.
Yeah, that's more of the horror one. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, I would say.
Have you seen Aliens?
I have not.
I think you'd like it even better, potentially.
Yeah, most people like it a lot better because it's like the action version of the story. But yeah.
All right, Patrick, what you got?
Well, I'll just bring up, I don't know. People may not know, but we have a website. It's called badmovietwins.com. That's
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that?
Oh, it was badmovietwins.com. And for this week, we were watching, this week, who knows when we'll actually get the stuff online for our avid fans. But we were watching Odd Couple 2, which I still haven't watched this weekend. But I did watch, because I'd never seen it, Odd Couple, the original Odd Couple, the adaptation of Neil Simon's play with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. And I have to say, I really liked it. It's very 60s. And the thing that I kept on coming back to that I was kind of stunned by is that it came out the year after The Graduate. And just like the distance between the filmmaking in The Graduate and the filmmaking in The Odd Couple is like so stark that you could still make, they still do it now, but it's a little bit more for like indie stuff. It's kind of crazy to think that they were at the same time they're making this, I don't know. You describe The Graduate, I think, as something of like a boundary pushing directorial effort. And then you have basically a play that is occurring.
I was going to say, it feels very much like a sitcom. Unsurprisingly, it became a sitcom. Yep. And I'd say if it can be tough at times because they're both kind of annoying. It's almost like watching a breakup where you're like, oh boy.
When they are fighting, it is quite extreme. It is an extreme version of fighting, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yep. All right. And I'm going to say we got from the Red Box 21 Bridges. My wife has particular taste in films and oftentimes will watch one and she'll be like, that was boring. I didn't like it. 21 Bridges, not the case. We loved it. Thought it was great. It got kind of middling reviews, but I think because it's not really pushing those boundaries that, Patrick's mentioning. It's kind of a standard police kind of thing, but very entertaining. Enjoyed it. A little predictable, but sometimes you just want a little predictability in your life. It's like a beach read. That's what we both described it as. It's like a beach read, but in movie form. So just very enjoyable flick. All right, push that button, Kyle, because it's about to get started. Dive!
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Back East Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Ointment, Kyle El Capitan, and Zach the Backbone present Submersion.
Patrick, what did we watch? Not watch all of, but watch the micro version of for this episode.
Yeah, I spoiled it before, but Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the Cradle of Life. You sometimes just seem to claim there's multiple colons, but at least in the UK, there's only, and on IMDb, there's only one colon.
Right, but isn't the colon between Lara Croft Tomb Raider?
On Wikipedia, on IMDb, for me at least, the UK version, it's got Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the Cradle of Life.
Oh,
What's that for IMDb? Yeah.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, the Cradle of Life.
That's an IMDb for the US.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. No. I'm saying that's Wikipedia. That's Wikipedia. No.
I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah, no. Wow. I'm ashamed. But anyways, that is what we watched. There is a submarine in it. I will note it as I go through this recap. But Kyle, you got a timer?
Yes. Let's get on to it, man. We got a short episode here.
Know.
So 1, 2, 3, get going.
All right. So we're at first in Greece, and there's an earthquake, and it uncovers Alexander the Great's tomb. And you always know you're in for a thrill ride when we're talking ancient stuff, kind of mixing with modern stuff, and you're like, word up. So anyways, Lara Croft's there. They're all like, we got to beat all those other treasure hunters. Lara Croft is like on a jet ski and shit. And she's like, ever heard of me? She goes down. They find kind of where it is. Everyone else doesn't know where this shit is. She finds like an orb and like a necklace. There's all kinds of MacGuffins everywhere. All of a sudden, a bunch of other quote unquote treasure hunters come in. They shoot everyone, grab the orb, grab that, thing and chase Lara Croft out of there. She barely survives. How does she survive? She rides a fucking shark out of that tomb and is able to get to the surface. There, she's shipwrecked. Her friends have all been killed. She's left for dead. She's obviously going to die, except what bubbles up from the surface? A submarine. Piloted, well, by a captain, but also on there are her butler and her like tech man Q kind of person. And they're all like, we're going to figure this out. So she's like, we got to figure out what this orb was, look up every orb ever. Also, what the fuck? Why were we attacked? All this stuff. They figure out that, wait a second, we're pretty sure this is, Pandora's box, mythology. Ever heard of it? Open it up, a plague. And a Nobel Prize winning scientist is trying to develop this plague and sell it on the open market. It seems like a crazy, nonsensical plan, but don't worry about it. It's happening. And MI6 is like, you got to help us. Lara Croft's like, no thanks. And they're like, you definitely have to help us though. And she's like, well, on one condition, my bro / former lover, Terry in Kazakhstan, you got to free him. And they're like, no way. But eventually they're like, okay, fine. And so she goes to the prison, frees Terry, Gerard Butler, looking cut. He's looking sweet right now, shredded. And he gets out there and he's like a giant dick, but everyone kind of likes it. They extreme sport into China because he's going to help them find these treasure hunters that attacked her. They get in there. He's like, here's where it's going. Don't even worry about it. They're like, Terry, why'd you come back here? And she's like, oh shit, you should have told me that you had like a falling out with these terrorists. And he's like, whatever. And so then they go in, Gerard Butler's left to be beat up by a fat guy while Lara Croft goes and talks with, the main bad guy. He's like, I'm not going to tell you anything. Lara Croft beats the shit out of him. He's like, fine, I'm going to tell you something. Tells where the orb is being sold at 9 p.m. and then tries to kill her and she has to kill him and he's out of there. And Lara Croft's like best. Anyways, they go into Shanghai. They try to stop the selling of the orb. They can't. The orb gets taken, but Lara Croft's able to track it. They track it to Hong Kong. They head into the secret base, the secret layer there. She's able to grab that, decode the orb. The Nobel Prize winning scientist comes back. They barely escape, and the Nobel Prize winning scientist is like, oh shit, I got some technology here that Lara Croft dropped.
10 seconds.
To track. She finds out, she drops Gerard Butler, finds out that it's all in Africa, extreme sports into Africa. They're going along. They're like, oh man, we're totally going to prevent the plague from getting released. The Nobel Prize winning scientist comes in and is like, that's a fast. Got our friends there. She has to take it to Cradle of Life. She slams dunks the orb to get into the Pandora's box area. There's all kinds of acid stuff there. She beats up this Nobel Prize winning scientist while Gerard Butler swoops in again to be the hero. Pushes him into not Gerard Butler, the scientist, into the acid tears. He melts. Gerard Butler's like, yo, I'm totally going to take this plague and sell it for a whole bunch of money. Isn't that a great idea? Lara Croft's like, no. Shoots him. Then she's like, cries a single tear. They leave. They make a quick homophobic joke, and that's the end.
Wow. Barely
Sorry.
went over.
I know.
Impressive.
I know.
Impressive.
Also, the Pandora's box area is the titular Cradle of Life.
That is the Cradle of Life. Yes,
I like
sorry.
that you didn't remember that while you're saying it. Anyways, physics don't apply in the Cradle of Life, turns out. Who knew?
There's too many MacGuffins. There was an orb, there was a necklace, there was the Pandora's box itself, and the Cradle of Life.
Do you remember what the necklace did? Pop quiz.
The necklace, they informed everyone that it was music. That was the
much
thing,
like
right?
an adventure game made by the Adventure Company in the year 2000. They had a misguided music puzzle. Oh no.
Yeah. All right. So thumbs up, thumbs down. Now, Kyle, quick question for you. Did you actually watch this film or did you just watch the submarine portion of it?
So, Jamie, when you approached me, wanted me to do this yesterday, yes, I said, I will do this. And I went in here just knowing that I wanted to just watch the submarine scene with zero context as to what was going on so I could really analyze it and see if it was necessary. And then based on your review, I was going to see if it even fit into what was happening.
I think that's a great idea because I think that's actually makes a lot of sense for some people to have watched it and other people just to watch the submarine and kind of combine powers like a Captain Planet scenario.
Exactly.
Into
That's what I was
best
thinking.
One. Right.
And when I was going through trying to find it in the movie, I did find the scene right before, which I would give a big thumbs up to. Lara Croft punches a shark in the face, and then rides it up to the surface, and then it's just laying around for a while. The sub comes up. Thumbs up to the shark punch. Thumbs down to the sub scene. I don't really see why this was necessary, right? It could have been found in a tomb that wasn't underwater, but.
Yeah, but then why would it take so long to find it, Kyle?
I don't know. They're still finding stuff all the time over there, aren't they?
Valid point. Good point. And the Cradle of Life, not underwater. Still hard to find.
Considering that they basically like free dove down into Alexander's temple, would that ocean actually even be like deep enough for a submarine to like creep along underneath her?
I think probably, right?
It depends on, all right, if they're like world-class record free divers, yeah, it would be fine. If it was like me going down there where I get like 20 feet, I'm like, the pressure, and then I have to turn around, probably not going to work out.
That's true. I don't know. I'll be like, my ears. Exactly right.
Right, exactly, yeah.
That's what I do, yeah. Going out snorkeling and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's too much.
Right. Patrick, what about you? Thumbs up, thumbs down, submarine, movie, whatever.
Thumbs up. I'll give it a thumbs up. Basically, Lara Croft is I described it as it's in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull crossed with the day not Tomorrow Never Dies. What's the other one? Day whatever. The James Bond, the shitty one in Iceland. I basically said it was like a cross between those two films where it's like, but those are the worst of versions of those franchises. And it's like, it's not that bad though. It's like still like pretty good. Like you still have fun watching these cartoons, like running around on a cartoon stage. And that is what the film in actuality is. It's like a bunch of cartoons and Gerard Butler like running around, and it's just very silly and nonsensical. And I think, for some reason, I enjoyed it well enough, the idea of it. I think it's kind of what I would expect the Nathan Drake film, whatever that one is, that's coming out, whenever, because it's been in production for like 30 years. But whenever that one comes out, I expect it to be very similar, where it's going to be very cartoony, a lot of jokes, and like kind of a cross between Indiana Jones and James Bond, like a secret agent. And I liked it. I don't know. I liked it well enough. A lot better than I expected it to be in reality, right up until the end. But we can ignore that. I do agree the submarine action was lacking, but I do enjoy seeing people kind of be saved by submarines. I like when submarines are used for good, not evil. So I'm going to give it a full thumbs up.
Was it necessary though?
Doesn't need to be necessary. A microprod? I'm not sure it needs to be necessary.
Okay, true. I guess that's not a condition of this, but
yeah, Kyle, and you didn't even get to see how cut Gerard Butler was. That would probably turn your thumb upside down.
I did see him later when I was looking, because you told me like 20 minutes, and then when I clicked on 20 minutes, they were like doing some kind of training, martial arts fighting, and I was like, "There's no sub here. What's going on?" So I saw more of the movie than I anticipated. I didn't sit there and watch. I sat there and skipped through a bunch of stuff.
You should have went and saw the Kazakh prison scene. It's quite impressive.
It was better.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of I agree with both of you in a lot of ways. Like, I think the movie was surprisingly good up until the end. To the very end, Cradle of Life time is like just awful. But the movie itself is kind of like where movies were heading, where Fast and the Furious is now, and where like Triple X, kind of was taking things and stuff, where it's basically just a whole bunch of stunts mixed with James Bond or Indiana Jones. And I thought it was quite fun up until the end. Submarine is not necessary, and that kind of is a good little segue to my section of this, where I'm going to go into a little bit of a who, what, where, why of what we were kind of dealing with here. But, definitely a thumbs down on the submarine portion of it, and probably just a barely thumbs up on the movie itself. All right, so I'm going to do a little who's, what, why, where, when, why kind of thing. So just kind of give some details of what we were dealing with on our submarine portion here. Where? Well, we were in Greece, as Patrick mentioned very astutely, in a very semi-shallow area. Kind of interesting to think that the submarine's kind of like just cruising about in an area where you could basically reach the bottom and dive up from the bottom of the that area without an issue. We've kind of seen in some of our submarine films where they've had some difficulty getting from a submarine on the bottom all the way up. So clearly a shallower area than some of those times that we've seen. But yeah, we're in Greece. I'm not sure how Lara Croft's butler was able to get a nuclear submarine into Greece, the sea around Greece. It seems like it'd be some kind of international issue, but that's fine. Kind of why is there a submarine here? I think it is trying to convey something about Lara Croft in a lot of ways, the kind of her power, her riches. Her butler and her Q show up just on it's got to be some nations.
His name is Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce. So, and Bryce and Hillary, that's the butler's name. And they show up in the submarine, and you're really supposed to say, Lara Croft is a badass. She's going to get rescued by a full-blown nuclear submarine. So it's a little bit more impressive than that, let's say, getting saved by like a Boston whaler, which you'd think is what would happen here. This was kind of an interesting one. So who do we see kind of from the submarine? Did they end up on the submarine? Are you seeing the captain? Or are you seeing a Captain Dick? Who's to know? Here, we actually do see two people with Hillary and Bryce on the top of the submarine when they come out. One's clearly a medic. That guy shoots straight to Lara Croft to kind of help with, like, make sure she's okay and stuff like that. The other one is credited as submarine captain, which was kind of an interesting thing. We're actually seeing the captain. I mean, it was a little far away. I didn't put my glasses on because I didn't know the look. It's hard. You can't tell he's the captain or whatever. But I guess if you put your glasses on, you might have been able to see maybe that Captain Dick's peeking out. Do you think
that's a fault of the director that he didn't make it clear that his Captain Dick was out? Or
well, I'm wondering if there wasn't a cutscene.
Is it fine that you can kind of just infer
an extended version of the movie? Perhaps.
It seems odd that Graham McTavish, which is the actor who portrayed the submarine captain, quote unquote, would have no lines and actually never appear on screen other than in long shots, but yet get credited as a submarine captain.
You think it's something similar to Jackie Chan First Strike? You remember how, I mean, literally on the cover of that movie, they had the sub, and then it's probably even less time than in this movie. Yeah. I think they probably, there's a chance that they used it later or were on it for a second to be like, where do you want to go? And she's like, let's go home. And they just, in the end, they were like, obviously this is unnecessary. And I would disagree. Should have had more submarine. Let's actually make the whole thing a submarine film. I like that.
And then how long was it on screen? Did anyone actually time this on how long it was?
I did not. It was not long. I'll say that.
Would you say under 20 seconds actually on screen?
I'd probably go under.
Yeah, under 20, right?
I would think so.
Yeah. And that's what I got. That's my section. Who, what, where, when, why.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brief, succinct.
Exactly.
Profound. I wanted to go through and figure out, after seeing that we had a submarine in a Lara Croft movie, have we had many of them in any of the Tomb Raider games? I don't know if either of you guys familiar with the Tomb Raider games. You play them at all? Or anything when you were younger?
No, zero.
No. Yeah, not a single second.
I didn't either. And I think you remember like what the games were like advertised as.
Yeah.
I think I picked one up, and My dad was probably like, you're not going to play that. Look at what is this?
Your dad's like, I'm going to actually have to play through this first before you get to it.
I'll let you know how it is.
Right.
And so I never played them, but I wanted to see if there was a submarine in them. Turns out Tomb Raider 5 Chronicles, huge submarine involvement.
What?
Now that game...
Wait, are you saying a lot of submarine or an actual gigantic submarine?
Both.
Whoa.
Yes. Now that game came out in 2000, so before this movie came out. And there's a few things in it, I guess, that maybe, well, I mean, not really being on the sub and that type of stuff, but they can relate. So in that movie, Lara Croft, game, Lara Croft is looking for a spear, and it is in a sunken U-boat from World War II. And there's also some crazy Russian guy with a really great accent looking for the spear. She sneaks on to the Russian sub because she's going to hitch a ride, and she's going to steal the spear before them. And, man, I tell you what, when she's on this submarine, she's like doing these things, these ventilation shafts she's in. She can stand in them, doesn't have to crouch, can scale like a 30-foot wall. It's unreal. That's where you get the huge sub. It's out of this world. Eventually, she gets out, goes into a little diving suit. You find the spear. You bring it back to the sub. She's like, hey. And the Russian guy confronts her, says, hey, that's my spear. She says, you don't know how to handle this. He says, yes, I do.
Oh,
and then immediately gets killed by the spear. Somehow, spear kills him. And then blows up part of the sub. And you got water all over the place. And then you have to escape a sinking sub.
That sounds exciting.
It is quite exciting, right?
So did you actually play this, or did you get to see any images from the video game of escaping from that submarine?
So I did watch part of the playthrough on this because, like you, I never played any of these games. And after watching it, I've heard the new ones are much better, but I looked at the old ones, and I'm glad I did not play them. They don't look great. Mechanics look pretty bad. And you can tell me otherwise, listener. I promise. I will listen. I can change. I can be persuaded. Maybe it's great. I think you can get this on sale, or not on sale, but you can get it on Steam right now for $6.99 if you really are looking to play it.
So really it's for $69.9. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Ah.
That's what it is.
Interesting.
That's all I've got. That's what I've got for Tomb Raider and subs in the video games.
Nice. Cool. Let's finish strong. What you got, Patrick?
All right. So when we watched it for BadMovieTwins.com, I mentioned at one point that that there was a James Bond element to it that I couldn't quite pinpoint. Basically, the bad guy at one point is you introduced to like his customers on a plane, and I'm sitting there being like, I've seen this scene before, and I thought it was from Goldfinger, but in reality, apparently, it's from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the Lazenby James Bond. They have an almost identical scene where he kills one of the people who betrayed him and like kind of throws him out of an airplane or something like that. And all the other henchmen are like, oh no. Anyways, in order to confirm that, I went on to IMDb has like their connections page. And so it says references On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So I assume that is the one I'm thinking of. And it wasn't Goldfinger. But then if you go and referenced in, it's quite interesting. They actually mention podcasts and TV episodes and stuff. Sometimes it depends on the people who put it in. But the one I found most interesting was there is a Jeopardy episode in which this was mentioned. So, turns out, I don't know if you knew this, there's a thing called the J Archive, and it archives every single episode of Jeopardy, and including all of the questions, all of the answers, who got what, and what like their scores and kind of what their fair score is, which is called what do they call it? A Coriat. So you can get a Coriat score, which is basically if you cut out all the other garbage like double Jeopardies, what was their like fair score for what they did. Anyways, so this episode, it was show number 5,783. It was from November 4th.
Good episode. Yeah.
Wednesday, November 4th, 2019. And I'm going to challenge you guys to the girls who kick butt thing. Now, hopefully in other episodes, we'll watch movies that also have Jeopardy questions involved with them.
That'd be great.
This one should be easier, considering it was from the 2019 tournament. So hopefully we are smarter than teens. Okay. So let me see. Who do I want to go first? I'll start with Jamie. Choose a dollar amount for girls who kick butt.
This is 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000?
Yes, it was a first round.
I'm going to start up easy, 200.
Alyssa Milano, Rose McGowan, and Holly Marie Combs didn't take any guff on this bewitching TV show.
Charmed.
It is Charmed.
Oh, come on. You didn't answer correctly, Jamie.
What is Charmed? Fuck.
Not a hard and fast rule anymore, Kyle. Kyle, what dollar amount do you want?
Let's go 400.
Cool. Lena Headey, if you remember, is Cersei.
Yep.
I'll give you that hint. Was the title gal whose TV chronicles, in quotes, involved stopping apocalypse one punch at a time. Stopping.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
my gosh. Is it Resident Evil?
No.
Do you know what it is?
Shoot.
I feel like it's one of those, like, it's not Xena, but it's something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I could not get this one either. This is the only one I couldn't get, and it was the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Shit, that's right. Yeah,
remember?
Shoot.
I now can see her with the black hair as Sarah Connor.
All right, I'm going to jump right down to 1,000 because I'm going to get some moolah here.
Don't mess with Halle Berry as this character in the X-Men movies. She'll blow you away.
Storm.
Yeah,
who is Storm?
It's so easy. Yeah.
How's that 1,000? Come on.
$1,000 one?
Yeah, it
Come
was.
on.
All right. What do you want?
Give me 800.
Eliza Dushku can be whoever you want her to be as an active, quote unquote, on this Fox show. I wonder if they have tiny sofas.
Whoever I want her to be? Man.
I got this. I know this. So
You know this one?
Oh, you're done. Yeah.
Son. Oh, shoot. I don't know. I have literally no idea.
What is Dollhouse?
Dollhouse is correct. I'm gonna give this last one to Kyle as well.
Yeah, do it.
I need to try to make up some ground here.
In her last Lara Croft film, she was on a mission to save Pandora's box.
Oh.
It was the $600 one. Who is it?
You're like, who is Gerard Butler?
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. So you got 600.
Oh, there we go.
And
low hanging fruit there.
Yeah, Jamie had. Well, I guess you actually technically had 200, but you got that one wrong, the other one wrong, and then Jamie got 1,600, so he won.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Great. Wow.
And I think that brings us to the end of our first ever micropod, kind of coming in right where we wanted to. And if we didn't, Kyle, you could just cut all of Patrick's stuff out.
Thank you for listening to Submersion. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating wherever you listen. Want to interact with us? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also love to get messages from all of you. If you have a suggestion, a comment, or just anything you'd like to share, please email us at macestudios@gmail.com.